Okay, everybody. It's Wednesday, July 22nd, 2026 at 6:30 exactly. And I'd like to call this meeting for one. Giving Finance Director Williamson to call the roll call, please.
Clancy,
Here.
Gagan,
Here.
Hodgkin, here, Hubbard, here, Moynihan,
Here.
Nipper, here, Fredo,
Here.
Pratchett,
Here.
Shaw,
Here.
Swore, here, Taylor,
Here.
Wilson, here, Orr.
Here. I'd also like to know.
Student Rep Justin Jacobs is here today also. Okay, if you'd like, we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is right over there. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'll also note that our other student rep,
The council president swore with approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve tonight's agenda. Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Nipper. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Thank you. We'll go right into public comments. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes and start off with your name and your ward or your city. Anybody like to do a public comment?
Good evening, City Council. It's nice to see some really nice faces, familiar faces and new ones. My name is Katie Hatchman, and I'm from Ward 3. And I served on this council with some of you from 2020 to 2024. And I want to speak in support of reducing the council from 12 seats to 6. Like you, and I can tell you from experience that more seats did not mean better decisions. It meant longer meetings, groupthink, and votes that took more coordination to reach the same outcome. A similar group could have reached faster and more informed. And here's the part I saw firsthand. This council is part-time. You're putting in evenings after your regular jobs, meeting only a few times a month for a salary that doesn't pay many bills. The council that size, with that little dedicated time and no personal staff, does not use its extra seats for deeper policy review. It uses them for longer debate on the same questions. 12 people trying to find agreement on a volunteer schedule is slower, unfortunately not more thorough. There's also real risk that comes with a body this size. It's large enough to split into competing factions, but way too under-resourced to manage that the way bigger cities do, with real committee structures and staff support. I watched coalitions form and shift on issues that have nothing to do with the merits, simply because with 12 people, there's more room for that kind of maneuvering. 6-member council with a clear, simple majority threshold would still represent every ward fairly and allow council candidates to show their wards that they're the best candidate when they're running for office. Reducing our council to 6 seats would not reduce representation, it would sharpen it. Fewer members, each carrying. Hold on. So council, I just want to end by saying thanks for all you do. And I know that you truly care about our city and want to see it succeed. So I hope that you'll support bringing this to the voters and letting the voters decide.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Patrick Paul. I live in Ward 4. I've lived there for 35 years. And I'm here also to encourage you to reduce the size of your city council. I went to both of the community forums that you hosted, and thank you all for those that participated. That was very successful. But we talked about it there. And the majority of the people that presented there we're very much in favor, or at least leaning towards doing that. Like Katie says, there's a lot of research on effective work groups. And much of the area says an effective work group is between 5 and 8 people for all the reasons that Katie mentioned, and I won't repeat those, and there's others. The research is very clear that smaller work groups are far more effective. So I'm encouraging you to proceed with considering that, and hopefully you'll find in favor of the city council size. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Why third ward, and I agree with these two. A couple years back, Shauna and I were, helping a lady that was running for a Senate up in Olympia. And my job was to go to all the council meetings all over the state, west coast is what her district was. So from here to Port Angeles to Longview and all that. They all have 6 people on their council. We have 12, and up until now, none of you got along. It was broken in half. Some people couldn't think for themselves and had to have somebody else think for them. And having somebody, having 6, where there's not all this bickering and backstabbing with you guys, I think would be a lot better to have 6 staying.
Thank you. The other public comment. You've seen none, I'll close the public comment period and we'll go on to our consent agenda, our council president's sworn.
Motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, which includes minutes from the July 8th meeting. Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Nipper. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor's report on. Got a long one here, but I'll try and keep it short. First off, I got a letter here from the Department of Ecology, and I'd just like to read it to you. I'll try and be quick. Honorable Mayor or City of Aberdeen. Congratulations, the Aberdeen wastewater treatment plant is receiving the 2025 wastewater treatment plant Outstanding Performance Award. Approximately 300 wastewater treatment plants statewide. Yours was among the top wastewater treatment plant operations for 2025. Ecology evaluates specific domestic wastewater treatment plant information for individual permit compliance. Your plant is one of the top performers for regularly meeting these permit criteria, including monitoring and data reporting. Ecology acknowledges the exceptional level of effort required to protect water quality and provide this critical service to your community. Dedicated and proficient operators are essential to successful plant operations and to protecting the health of Washington's waters. Thank you for your continued excellent commitment. And that's from John Kenny, water quality program manager for the state of Washington. I'd like to thank Rick and his crew for doing a wonderful job here. Congratulations. Dear Mrs. Ruth Clement, the world we live in is a loud and boisterous place. I recognize that the city of Aberdeen has received its fair share of critical feedback from stakeholders involved with homelessness challenges in the downtown business area. The hard work and efforts by the Aberdeen Police Department to address these issues, however, do not go unnoticed. I am a partner with the law firm Ingram, Alaska Goodwin LLP. Our office is located a block behind City Hall on First Street and kitty corner from the site of our city's infamous homeless encampment. Before and after implementation of this camp, we enjoyed many days and nights with those defecating in our lawns, urinating in our bushes, and lighting up their crack in the shadows of our office. No more We've seen clear, visible, and measurable results. The area around our office and surrounding streets continue to appear safe, clean, and welcoming. Yes, more can be done, but the conditions have improved. Public spaces are enhanced. Community concerns do not go unnoticed. These efforts reflect a meaningful commitment to both the public welfare and economic stability of Chief Dale Green and his team. I get it. Homelessness is a complex and sensitive issue that requires a thoughtful balance of compassion, accountability, and collaboration. It is encouraging to see the city taking proactive steps towards solutions that support individuals in need while also safeguarding the integrity of our business community. Please extend my sincerest appreciations to Chief Dale Green, the entire police department, staff, and partners involved. Sometimes it takes just a moment like this to acknowledge all the hard work around us and admit that we live and work in a pretty great area. I look forward to seeing continuous progress and appreciate your time and consideration. Very attorney that Ingram is the last going to. All right, thank you, Chief. We appreciate you, and thank you, Ruth, for your hard work. And the rest of this is, oh, here, let's just move on to these. So I have these three wonderful little council people that have gone out of their way and have gotten their leadership certificates. And Council President Swar, I got her advanced leadership certificate, and they get these by achieving 30 points with the Association of Washington Cities. They have to look at videos and go to seminars. There's an assortment of things they can do. And one of them is also to go to the meeting we just had in Spokane, their state meeting, and it was a good meeting. And so that pushed some of these representatives up so they got their certificates, and I just wanted to give them their certificates now. So Council President Swar. The real big commitment of these leaders that they are taking the time to educate themselves, and that's very much appreciated. Okay, I'm going to do with a lot of this that I have on this list here. Basically, it's just a list of all the committees and things that I did since the last meeting. Our radio broadcast that Ruth and I do in the mornings after council meeting, day after, went wonderful. It's nice that since we've been doing the rhetoric has gotten nicer, and some of the haters maybe are sleeping in late, so they don't. But it's, I'm sure Administrator Clemens made all the difference in the world coming and joining councils. Let's see, I attended the Grace Harbor, well, I'm the chairperson for the Grace Harbor Transit Authority. They just announced the new bus logo that's going to be on the side, and I unfortunately didn't get the young lady's name, but it was an Aberdeen high school student who submitted the hard work and was selected as this year's. It'll be a 250th anniversary logo. Grace Harbor bus. And I just want you to know that when I was a kid in high school, I entered the same thing, and I didn't. Let's see. So downtown right now there is a celebration right kind of in front of 118. The maybe someday museum building downtown that the city owns. I plugged in one of our new Christmas decorations down there so people could get just an idea of what it's going to look like. So those will be going up. I met this week with also our our city electrician, and we're figuring out the locations and getting electricity. So we'll have some really beautiful new decorations up this Christmas. Hopefully, we'll have some new shops downtown. And speaking of new shops downtown, I also attended the ribbon cutting for Deidre's downtown at her deli. I love their location over in Oakland, but I'm so much happier with them here in Aberdeen. And I think if you haven't been there, they have wonderful food. They're open Tuesday to Friday, 10 to 3, kind of limited hours, but their food is really worth it. Let's see, I also attended a award ceremony for Business of the Quarter from Greater Grace Harbor Incorporated, and their Moyer Multimedia got there. That young man has spent so much energy showing our city in such a positive light, and he's really well deserving of that. His wife, Amy, and also are celebrating their 40th anniversary, so just congratulated. Then on the 17th, we had our first museum transition committee meeting, and I thought that went really well. I was really encouraged to see that the group of people that we have on that committee are all excited and willing to work together, and I think I'm going to see good things coming from that group in the future. That's it, sweet guys. For the council members, I have 7 of these, and it's point of order. If you want them, I have them. They're stickers. Okay, that's the end of my report. So we have council reports now, and I guess does the student have anything? Yes, go ahead. I think this is his last meeting.
Correct, yeah. All right, just a few things tonight. The free summer lunches are still going on. You can find the dates and times on the Aberdeen School District Facebook or website. Also, the Aberdeen High School football went to football camp about 2 weeks ago in Wenatchee, and currently the cheer team is at cheer camp in Tacoma. Last night they won a banana, which only one team wins a banana for being like the most spirited and showing great leadership. Also later tonight, you'll be voting on the reading regarding city council. I'll share more about that. Also, this is my last council meeting. I want to thank you all for listening to my ideas, figuring out how we can bring the youth closer. I also want to thank the citizens of Aberdeen. I've enjoyed talking to you to learn about the youth struggles and serving as your representative on the Aberdeen City Council. And some of you may ask what's going on next with me. And in 2 weeks, I will be moving to Phoenix, Arizona. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. They're in council.
On Wednesday, I actually had 2 committee meetings. Noon, the ethics committee met for the first time. And Glenn Minsky and Lindsay Thur, I don't know if they're both here, but so we met on Wednesday, and we'll have something to bring before you later on. This is brand new committee, so we're still kind of learning the ropes too, so go easy on us. And then later after in the evening, Justin Jacobs, Michelle Nipper, and I met, and Deb Wilson and Deb Hodgkin had chimed in by email. And we went over all of the information that I brought back from Associated Washington Cities Conference on setting up a youth council. And we created the ordinance and changes that you will see later on in the meeting. Those we based off of the City of Ridgefield's Youth Commission, and then made our own changes for things like the size of that council. It was important to a few of us that we let the council themselves choose their topic rather than us assigning them one. So we made that change. And then also having their president and vice president become our representatives on council. So that's what I was up to this week.
Okay, thank you. Any other council reports? Good touch. Thanks.
I attended the Grace Harbor Council meeting.
Unfortunately, I was not able to attend the 3 meetings I had last week, due to an appointment and need to assist my family. But I am looking forward to the ENAC meetings upcoming Monday. We'll be taking a tour around town to discuss some potential opportunities. Also coming up next week is the grand opening for the T4 project down the port. This event is expected to have nearly 600 attendees from all over the world, and looking forward to getting a tour of the new facility. As part of my certificate in municipal leadership, I completed those requirements after attending the last conference in March for council leaders. And then I'm just glad that they were able to slow down for events long enough to recognize the hard work of myself and of the council members up here today. I also want to just take a moment to remind everyone to share the community survey with folks in your ward so they can complete it. The more answers we get, the more data we have, the more we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council reports? Yeah, see, I read on staff reports, administrative finance.
Thank you, Mayor. One of the things that we've been working hard on is the alternative response project. That is one of the items on the agenda tonight is for approval of the $145,000 that we received from AWC. So that we can continue work on this, and we upped the date, the go live date. We were hoping to make to launch the program on October 1. Our partner CAP is very motivated and they moved it up to September 1. So this will keep us busy through the legislative break. As Mayor stated, we met for the first time, the Museum Transition Committee met. I will be facilitating the conversation and the discussion and the building of the project plan. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. As Sydney stated, Council President Swore stated, Port of Grays Harbor does have a big event on July 31. I really encourage all of you to be there if you can to show support for this project. This project is also kind of working in tandem with the US Highway 12 project as well. So it's a good time to get some face time with other legislative elected officials there as well and really get Aberdeen there on the international lens. And in August, I will be or the second week of August, I will be at the statewide city managers conference in Kennewick. So I will not be available during that time, but I think we're still on set on break during that time. So, do you have any questions? Thank you very much. Oh, yes.
Just gonna ask for the T4 expansion, is that a registration only event, correct?
Yeah, if you haven't registered, I can definitely check with Kayla to make it, and it's more about food than anything else, but if you didn't register and would like to go.
Happy to get on.
Perfect, okay, I'll let President Swan handle. All right. Thank you very much.
So now put it director's reports.
Thank you. I just really wanted to thank you and Justin for stepping up. It's been an incredible experience having both of you here and having the voice. And I know the school appreciates it. I know we appreciate it. We've learned a lot from you. So I just really want to say thank you. I appreciate how you're involved in this. And it makes a difference when you speak up.
Thank you. Any other directors like to?
I'm going to give a quick second quarter budget update. I did provide a copy for each of you at your spots, and I'm just give me a minute and I can share my screens. Okay, so now we're halfway through the year, so we're through the second quarter, so we should be pretty close to 50% on what we're looking for revenues and expenditures. We're actually a little bit higher than in both of those categories, so our revenue collections are coming in at 58% for the end of the second quarter. Part of that is due to we receive a large portion of our property taxes come in April and May. So that has a little bit to do with that. We're also still up in sales tax, so that's also contributing. And we have had the HCA jail reentry grant was also a large intergovernmental grant that we received in the first part of the year. We're also a little higher in our expenditures. We're at 54%. And some of this is due to the delay of the EMS cost allocation change. So we were still subsidizing EMS out of the general fund for that first quarter of the year. We were able to add $985,000 to general fund reserves through the first 2 quarters of the year. We'll look at some details. So as I mentioned, our property taxes is at 59%, and that's because we received a one portion of that already. Sales taxes coming in at 55%, and you can see the intergovernmental is about 167%. I kind of already went through a few of these because I talked about them in the first slide. So this is basically just talking about the intergovernmental revenues, why those are up, and the property tax, and then overall general fund is up for revenues through the first 2 quarters of the year. We are up 12% over revenues from last year. And then on our general fund expenditures, this is just a breakdown of the different types of expenditures in the general fund through the first 2 quarters. And again, we're breaking down the different categories in the general fund. And we're coming out at the 54% mark. And again, we're pointing out fire is at 82% currently, but that is due to, again, the delayed EMS increase. So the allocation was delayed as well. Our general fund reserves, the target for reserves is 90 days, and we are currently at 92 days in cash. Through the first quarter, we were not meeting that target. We are meeting that target now, mostly due to the receipt of our property tax. And so we're currently at our net undesignated reserves of 5.4 million. And that does not include any of the armory money. That's excluded all of that. So our EMS, just breaking down our EMS special revenue fund. And again, this one's kind of a little bit in the negative right now, and that is again because of the delay of the EMS rate increase. So I do think we'll see that come into the positive for the source or use of reserves as we move through the year. It has kind of caught up a little bit in this past quarter. So, and then we just break down the utility funds. There's a lot of details on here, so I don't want to bore anybody too much. We're doing well on our utility funds. And then there's some additional revenue reports that are also provided at the back of the packet that have lots of information. So please let me know if you have any questions about any of that. I can answer questions right now too if you have any. And we are working through 2027 budget right now. We have the worksheets out to the directors. So they're currently compiling all of their budget numbers. Those will come back to us, and then we'll be having a budget workshop with all of you on September 2nd at 6 o'clock. So make sure you have that on your calendar. And you know, the last budget workshop was great, so we're looking forward to another good one. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Right. So we'll move on to a presentation we have tonight at Twin Harbor Waterkeepers Talks.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lee First. I'm your Twin Harbors Waterkeeper.
Thanks.
I was really glad to get to Aberdeen tonight because it was 30 degrees cooler than Rochester, where I live. Like Katie gets that going. Right. Is it on?
Yeah, can you say your name again?
Yes, Lee First. I'm the Twin Harbors Waterkeeper. We're a nonprofit. We've worked in Grace Harbor and other watersheds on the southwest coast for the last 9 years. And Twin Harbors Waterkeeper is one of 300 waterkeepers all around the world that work for fishable, drinkable, swimmable water. And so in addition to, I mostly work in the Chehalis watershed and I live right on the Chehalis River. Yeah, so I'm thrilled that I was invited to come tonight and I want to thank Nick Bird for inviting me. Is he here?
He's online.
Okay.
He is online, so he'll hear your thing.
Oh, okay. Hi, Nick. So we have had three different 2-year grants from the Department of Ecology called public participation grants. And the purpose of these grants is to educate the public about contaminated sites and to encourage people to participate in the cleanup process. Next. And so kind of the backbone of our work is educating people about the Model Toxics Control Act, or MODCA, and that's like the state version of Superfund cleanup law. There's over 14,000 cleanup sites in Washington, and about 141 are in Grace Harbor County. Many of these are the ones in Grace Harbor County and across the state, like they can include small sites like gas stations or, places where there's been spills. But some of them are large, complicated sites that take years to clean up. And so the goal of Washington's cleanup law is to protect people and the environment and the animals from contaminants in soil, groundwater, and water and air. So what is a contaminated site? You guys probably know because you have your share of them here, right? In the 9 years that I've been here, I've seen one complicated site get cleaned up. And that was the Hungry Whale in Westport. That site, are you guys familiar with that? It was a gas station, convenience store, and they had a gasoline tank leak. And so it contaminated groundwater and surface water. And so they went through the cleanup process, which is outlined there, is a series of steps. And the little orange bubble thing is where the public has an opportunity to comment. And so most cleanups in Washington are cleaned up using this process, which includes a remedial investigation where the site is characterized and sampled. And so I'm just going to mention the proposed wood pellet plant site. So that is not going through this formal cleanup process because the port and the proponent have elected to do the voluntary cleanup process there. And so they still have to achieve the same cleanup standards, but there's no opportunity for public comment. Whereas at Cosmos Specialty Fibers, the state of Washington now is trying to get the owner to, not only characterize and remove and sample and stabilize the site with all the massive amount of chemicals that are stored there. But they're also, the next big step at that site, once it's stabilized, is to do a remedial investigation. And that's a process with sampling that kind of characterizes and maps out where the pollution is. Because a lot of the stuff there, we don't know because it's not fully characterized yet. And so sometimes this process takes 25 years. And I lived in Bellingham for most of my life, and there was a large BP had a giant pulp mill there that closed, and it went through the cleanup process there, and it took about 20 years. Yes. And so, the reason that there are several, half dozen or so large, complicated sites in Aberdeen and Hoquiam is that there were many facilities that operated before the Clean Water Act. And so then, there was no law, no framework of laws that prohibited discharges into water or soil or ground for sediment. So now we have the Clean Water Act. And it's illegal to discharge pollution without a permit, a pollution discharge permit. And so one of my favorite things about this work, which sounds kind of nuts, is there's a really fascinating mapping tool the Department of Ecology manages, and it's called What's in My Neighborhood. And so if you use your search engine and pull up what's in my neighborhood, you get the whole state. And you get all these little dots here. And so you can go to the dots and click on them. And then you'll get the site that you're interested in. So I think this is possibly right.
Yeah.
So so you can click on that and then you'll get, for Cosmo, there's a lot of documents. You know, you'll get 20 that have been written over the years. And so you can look at, you know, court orders, past legal documents, you know, lots and lots of reading. Next. And so there's a new tool that Department of Ecology has started to use. It's called the SHARP tool. And there's a hydrogeologist staff at Ecology who rates these sites using this tool. And it assesses the exposure and the severity of the risk. And so if you open up one of those little dots and look at the documents up in the corner, you'll, or on the site, one of the main documents there, you'll see what the SHARP rating is. Next. You know, I am very concerned about the site. I have trouble sleeping at night sometimes. I'm so worried about it. You know, 800,000 gallons of toxic chemicals in leaking tanks right next to the river. And then there's another 1.7 million gallons of stuff in improperly stored tanks and buildings. And, you know, I think this is an emergency. Next. And I go walk on the trail. Does anybody here go walk on that trail? It's, yeah, you know, it's pretty interesting because you all know this. There's no power, there's no water, there's no security, there's no nothing out there. And people are stealing wires out there. And this is the wastewater. And it's supposed to be being aerated as part of the treatment. And it's been a couple of years since it's been aerated. And I'm a paddler. I paddle by the outside of these things. And the berms of these walls are eroding. And that worries me. Next. I don't know if I have time. Let's see. But this is, so Department of Ecology issued a legal document last year, an agreed order demanding that the owner conduct a remedial investigation of the site. And he has not done that. And I can provide you guys this, a copy of this agreed order. It's really interesting because it shows, you know, the names of all the buildings, and these are the primary treatment tank or systems, and then here's where the outfall is. And I didn't know that until I read the agreed order. Next. And this is, so, and then more recently, the EPA came in and did an analysis and a site evaluation that's called the Renewable Site Evaluation Report. And they did a pretty good characterization of where the tanks are and what's in them and how many gallons. And so it's that, I spent a whole day reading, it's 118 pages long. It says there's, in addition to the 800,000 gallons of toxic chemicals being stored there are also 28 tanks containing over 1.7 million gallons of unwritten chemicals. And the digester tanks may contain over 1 million gallons of sulfate for pH of less than 2. And the possibility of flammable vapor buildup within the digesters. I'm sure you guys saw the article by Wayne Fournier, the Thurston County Commissioner. It was in the Daily World, and he's a City of Aberdeen firefighter, right? And I had a meeting with him last week. And as part of our grant, we're starting to organize a public meeting about this. And so if you guys have ideas about who you would like to be on a panel discussion, I hope you'll let me know. Next. Yeah, so this is just the headline from the Seattle Times that I think this was about 2 weeks ago. And you know, in addition to having public meetings and producing, we've got some site maps that we put out, and we have public meetings and we do presentations. We do tours. And so the last couple tours that we've done from the public right away, like, you know, we can't go into hospital or any from Blue Slough Road. I find it very concerning that the site is flooded. Even when there's a low tide, and I think it's because of beaver. But, you know, having a site that's contaminated, flooding is not a good thing. Next. And so back to this cleanup. So if you click on one of the little dots on what's on, so this is another, this is what you get to see if you click on the what's in your neighborhood map or the interactive site. I spend a lot of time looking at this. I hope you at least take a look. So if you click on Cosmo Specialty Fibers or any one of the sites, there's a little button right here, subscribe to the site. So if you subscribe to the site, you know, they ask for your email, you can put your email in there, and then every time there's an update, you'll get it, which is kind of handy. And then I want to show you the data. If you download the site report, it'll give you that sharp rating about whether the risk of the site is high, medium, or low. Yeah. You know, these are some of the other sites that are big, complicated sites that are, this one is in the cleanup process now. There's a remedial investigation that's underway. And there was a public meeting about a year ago. And I find it very interesting that during upsets of this plant, there was an underground pipe that piped the effluent to Reedy Island to an unlined lagoon. You know, that's just the way things were done before the Clean Water Act, but that's not the way things are done now. Next. This is another site that I find very concerning because nothing has happened here in a really long time. And I think we need to let Department of Ecology know that we are concerned about these sites and try to push for more cleanup, more and faster cleanup. I mean, here they sandblasted both. for a long time before the Clean Water Act was common. But all the particles, zinc, copper, and things like that that are used in boat paint are in the sediment there. Next. And then there's the Warehouser Sawmill Aberdeen. You know, this is also undergoing a cleanup process, but it's proceeding at a very slow rate. So, I had a really good experience with your pollution prevention or your pollution hotline. I was walking by the avenue, by the Loch Pavilion during a very low tide about 10 days ago. And I looked down and is it Joe Creek? Joe? It's right by the avenue, Loch Pavilion. There's a little creek there. And the tide was like a -3 foot tide. I looked down and there's a derelict vessel in the bottom of the creek. And so we called your guys' hotline. And you came the next day and took it out. It was amazing.
I think they took the shopping cart that was there with.
Well, to me, shopping carts are not a big deal
They just looked at it.
compared to this other stuff. But I really appreciated that you guys took that derelict vessel. And I think I only have one more. Yes, so, we'd be happy if you guys stayed in touch with us. I'm retiring in a week. But Maya Ronwatt is our new water keeper and she's online now. And,
Take those and submissions.
oh, okay. Yeah, and I really thank you guys for letting me come talk.
Thank
If you have any questions, Reed?
I just like a copy of your PowerPoint, if you could
Yeah,
make sure we get that.
you can, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
Will it be the process if like policy declares like a citywide emergency or the state does like a state of emergency type thing?
Well, I'm really glad you asked that because I neglected to say. So the Department of Ecology issued the Thurston County Superior Court has issued an order for them to, it includes a restraining order that they have to start following the steps of the agreed order that was issued a year ago. And then EPA has also stepped in. And according to my understanding, and the EPA won't engage with me for some reason. They don't answer my questions. But they've told me that they're giving Richard Bassett 6 months to comply with the agreed order. And if he doesn't, then EPA and Ecology will go in and either remove or stabilize all those toxic gallons of chemicals. And if it would be of interest to any of you, I did a public disclosure request and I have all those documents. If anyone. Yes. John.
Lee, what is the city of Cosmopolis doing in legislative position like that?
I think they're not able to do much, they don't have a fire department, that's a good question, I talked to Linda Springer. Because I told her that we're organizing this public meeting. And she said that she wants to wait. Because some information is gonna come out from Ecology and the EPA. And I don't know what she's talking about, I don't know if she's actually read those documents. That say he has 6 months to comply. But, yeah. I can try to find out.
Well, I'm just curious where they are. It's their backyard.
Yeah, I think they're very
Look
good.
at this for, for a generation. And so I think when we look at it from Aberdeen, we need to be well aware of where Cosmopolis is. They seem like they're in the first chair.
Yeah, I think the EPA and ecology need to come in and stabilize. You know, but it's gonna be very complicated and removing all those chemicals is gonna be a major ordeal.
Thank you.
Are the chemicals, do they still hold value? Are they?
Well, yes, and, well, according to Richard Bassett, yes, so he wants to restart it. And the reason that he's held on to the chemicals is they'd be worth money to him if he was able to restart it. I think the chances of him being able to restart it are almost zero. But, you know, don't take my word for it, you know, because he's under these orders to remove it. And he doesn't have investors. And, you know, we all see the condition of the place, right? I mean,
Yeah, we know that that does affect Aberdeen and that there is a pipeline going to our city and those settling funds.
Yeah.
They also said.
right, yes, there's the wood stave pipe that goes under South Aberdeen 3 miles. This leaks, it's had 17 leaks over the last 15 years, and yeah. Yeah, so we are gonna organize a meeting and maybe Maya can work with you, Doug, or Rick or Nick to see who from for you. I don't know if you'd be interested in being on the panel. Yeah, so we're looking for people to be on the panel, and Autran, who's the engineer from ecology, she'll be on the panel. Wayne Fournier. So we're still working on the details for the date, it'll probably be in October. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public safety with Jefferson.
Oh, that's me. Don't know why I thought, anyway. Okay, so we met earlier and I have a couple of things to share. The Emergency Preparedness Expo is coming up on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be over at the Olympic Gateway Plaza by Tractor Supply. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on there. So if you are around, stop by and check that out. And then also National Night Out is coming up on Tuesday, August 4th. And that will run from 5:30 to 7:30. And if anyone is interested in hosting a block party and would like the police and fire to stop by, then you need to get a hold of Ross Lampke and let him know, and then they can make a list for everyone to stop by. Last year, Deb and I went to all of the ones in our ward, and I highly recommend that to everyone. And you can get the list from Ross and he will happily share with you. And then you can go to all the ones in your ward and meet all the people that you are serving. For requests, we have a request recommending City Council host a public hearing to receive public testimony on the ordinance amending AMC Chapter 12.04 to establish new sections related to a temporary alley closure program for protection of public health, safety, and welfare. And that is bill number 2609. And I move that we accept this request. Second.
And seconded by council. Is there any discussion? All in favor of opening up the public hearing? Yeah.
Aye.
Opposed? Now, public hearing, if anybody would like to comment on this request, please come on to the podium. Seeing them, I'm taking the motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Nicker. Is there any discussion on this? All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, we have a second reading recommending city council approve the ordinance amending AMC chapter 12.04 to establish new sections related to a temporary alley closure program for protection of public health, safety and welfare. Bill number 2609, and I move that we accept this. Second.
Seconded by All in favor of accepting the second reading, recommending city council approve the ordinance amending AMC chapter 12.04 to establish new sections related to a temporary alley closure program for protection of public health, safety and welfare. Bill 26-09, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So with it.
Yeah, I was.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules.
That was the
Second reading is the third.
Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Ember to make the second reading the third. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sorry. Third.
Clancy. Aiken,
Yes.
Hodgkin,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Moynihan,
Yes.
Edward,
Yes.
Fredo,
Yes.
Tragic,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have a request recommending city council authorize the city administrator to enter into an agreement with the Association of Washington Cities, approving the acceptance of the funding for the ACT program. And I move that we accept this.
Second.
Second by Councilperson Radke. Is there any discussion on this? None. Request the city council to authorize the city administrator to enter into an agreement with the Association of Washington Cities, including the acceptance of funding for the ACT program. Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I will go on to Public Works with Chairperson Francis.
Public Works met earlier today. Great meeting. It's talk about this tonight, so let's get into it. First, we have a request recommending the city council host a public hearing to receive public testimony in the vacant building section for the Aberdeen Municipal Code Bill number 26-13. And the open public hearing.
Second.
It's been second to open the public hearing. Any discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Since 7:28, now in the public hearing, anybody would like to talk and have any comments about our vacant? Section? Given that, I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
Somebody.
Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Nick. Is there any discussion on this? All in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7.
All right, thank you. We've got 3 reports tonight. The first one is the second reading. It's a request recommending the city council approve the vacant building section including Bill 26-13. Another reason.
Second. Been seconded by Councilperson Blaney. Is there any discussion on this? All in favor of accepting their second reading request, recommending the city council approval on the amended vacant building section of the Aberdeen Municipal Code. Bill number 26-13, say aye.
Aye.
I, note that we suspend the rules and treat the second reading as the third reading.
Second.
President Swarr.
Second by Council. Yep, Council President Swart. Is there any discussion? All in favor, wait a minute.
Clancy,
Yes.
Hagan,
Yes.
Hodgkin,
Yes.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Moynihan,
Yes.
Limbert,
Yes.
Fredo,
Yes.
Bradget,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Swarr,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
motion passes.
We have a request recommending city council approval of the U.S. Federal Highways Rail Separation Supplemental Agreement Number 6. David Evans and Associates Incorporated. Move the acceptance.
Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Nimber. Is there any discussion?
Just want to point out that this is grant funded, not general funded. And it's been hoping to get the same field that registered.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All in favor of the request recommending city council approval of the US Highway 12 rail separation supplemental agreement number 6 with David Evans and Associates Incorporated, say aye.
Aye.
Reporters, the request recommending approval of H Street sanitary sewer construction. Move the acceptance.
Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Ramsey. Any discussion? All in favor of the request recommending approval of H Street sanitary sewer construction award, say aye.
Aye.
Two resolutions. The first one is a request recommending approval of the resolution setting the date for the public hearing on the proposed location of the alley private block line for 5 edition of Aberdeen. Resolution number 2026 dash.
Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Nimber. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the request recommending approval of resolution setting the date for a public hearing on the proposed vacation of an alley right of way within block 1 of the Flat Hopkins edition of North Aberdeen, resolution number 2026-29, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and on our second resolution, it's a request recommending approval of the resolution authorizing the city administrator to run the street closure fees for national night events. Resolution number 2026-3. I would accept this resolution.
Second.
Seconded by Councilperson. Discussion. All in favor of the request recommending approval of the resolution authorizing the city administrator to waive street closure fees for national night out events, resolution number 2026-30, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Thank you.
Okay, our next item is discussion of franchise agreement with British Titles.
Two meetings ago. Was to approve the Forest Fiber franchise agreement. And it was voted down, because there was a lack of information. Because it was voted down, now it has to start over. If it was cable, we would have been able to stop and restart when the questions had been answered. So tonight, we have, we couldn't bring it forward at the last meeting because we didn't have anything on the agenda. or you guys can ask actual questions of the people that are the experts in the field. So tonight we have Lisa Marshall from Opinion Dissent, which is our attorney, who wrote the franchise agreement, and Liz Walker from Wireless Policy Group, which is the representative from Forge Fiber, online to answer any questions that you might have. I know one thing that Councilman Shaw had was he was questioning a list of the infrastructure, and I know that they're working on that. They told me that they're working on that. Part of the problem is not everything has been transferred yet. I don't think they even know exactly what they have at this point. But they're in that process. So, anyway, Liz and Lisa are available for any questions you might have, and please take advantage of it because they're the experts on this, and I am not. I did not write the franchise agreement. We had our attorney write the franchise agreement. So, anyway, thank you.
Any questions?
We also have, I don't know, if Tiffany Perez, is she also a representative?
Hi, I wanted to talk about Kaleo Church.
At the second, that will come in the second public comment period, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to spend the rest of my life.
Well, Rick mentioned it, and as I brought up last time when we looked at it, there were questions that came up about what the inventory was, what they had, what they didn't have. And I think my push was that whatever they say they have included in this pass down. And I understand from Rick that they're working on creating that, be included in the contract, in the actual contract with the franchise. Or if there is not any, then that's stated that there isn't any. What I hear is that they're trying to find out what they have. And that was the caution from my discussions with the IT people at the PUD, was that quite often we have a gray area or a lack of understanding of what exactly is included with the franchise agreement. And it leads to significant problems down the road in time and money. So as we go forward, it sounds like they are working on creating an inventory of what was passed down. And if that all comes together, I have no difficulty.
I'm just thinking that during this discussion, per Robert's Rules of Order, this would need to come back by someone who voted no. When this was originally brought forward. So once we have these answers to these questions, just please bear that in mind. This cannot be brought back to the table for the council to vote on unless someone who voted no is willing to bring it back to the table. So, correct.
So this conversation with the PUD that, I just am a little, so the PUD advised and like gave you advice to.
I read it in depth. I asked a few people, and I found that the people that were expertise on this issue or had some expertise that we deal with are friends with the PUD. And I sat down and talked to them about things that we should look at when we look at this contract. And it stuck out to me, the fact that you couldn't tell from reading this agreement initially whether it was a new agreement or whether it was a series of transfers. That was not clear in reading the agreement. And then in asking that question back to our city attorney, it was stated that, oh no, there are no transfers. This is they asked for an entirely new agreement. So just trying to avoid the issue of what are ghost polls, what are undocumented closets, what assets might go with this franchise. Now, as I understand how franchise agreements work, and I'm not an expert, but I know how to ask the question. If there's no asset or no transfer from these previous agreements that go back through these other companies, it's really easy to state that in the contract and the franchise agreement that this reflects no past or existing. And if there are past or existing assets, those are in the contract so that they are reflected what we're giving franchise for. Hope I'm not making it complicated, but it was just, it's a form, it's a question of contract.
So we go back. No.
I was really hoping that Rick could even bring up what you were mentioning during public works about the, sometimes to solve this, they do what's called a location. The locating process where it was basically on, it was on basis of the franchise to go out and try to find.
Yeah,
They would,
honestly, the people we should be talking to are the ones that are spending their evening online. But yes, the looking process will identify where, you know, they all participate and pay in the looking service. When we go out the right of way, and we want to know what's on the ground, we don't call the PUD, call the locate service, and they come out and they locate all the utilities in the ground. They know where things are better than Forge Fiber knows where they are, right? So that's how we locate, and it's the responsibility of whoever calls that locate that's doing that work to ensure that, you know, where the utilities are. I'm not even sure we are really clear on what Forge Fiber is buying. So there's like, you know, they're not buying all of Lumen's assets or AT&T, they're buying the end user, they're not buying the main fiber. And I really encourage either Lisa to give us some background on the franchise agreement, or Liz to give us some background on, this is not new. They've gone through this process all over the state of Washington. Lisa's written a number of franchise agreements for other cities in the state of Washington because they work with Cambridge Assembly, which represents a lot of different cities. So this is not a new agreement. This is the same boilerplate type of agreement that's been catered to us. So I'm sure that they can answer these questions really clearly and with far more.
so then my question for her would be, is this something that's usually documented during these transfers? Do they usually have a full inventory list, or is it something that's just kind of undocumented? Is it unusual that we're asking for this type of information? Is it a lot more information that are we asking for than we're asking?
Can I respond to that, Liz?
Yeah, and I'm happy to, I just wanted to give her
Sure.
a chance to speak.
Again,
and
I'm
then-
Lisa Marshall. I'm Alex Kenyon's partner, Kenyon Decent, and I do a lot of franchise agreements. What I would like to do is just give you the guardrails, what we can ask for, what we can't ask for, and then I'm going to turn it over to Liz to answer technical questions about the infrastructure itself. Oftentimes when franchises expire, there isn't a real solid understanding of where that infrastructure is. That infrastructure location becomes critical when construction is going to proceed. So that's when 611 locate is called. That's where we figure out where the infrastructure is, so we don't hit it. But it is not normal to know exactly where everything is when the franchise is drafted or when it's executed. We define a franchise area, we define the right of way, and within those definitions, we do not engineer the location of the infrastructure. That said, in all fairness to Councilmember Shaw, I do think it's a legitimate question to ask the carrier whether or not there is infrastructure in the ground or not. And if there is no infrastructure on the ground, what the plan might be. I'll also add that locate question does come up from councils from time to time, and this is typically the way we answer it. And we also explain that when construction comes, when it is imminent, then we do get all the information we need. So I'm going to turn it over to Liz at this point.
Okay, good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. My name is Liz Walker. My address is 7436 South Ivy Way in Centennial, Colorado. And I'm here tonight on behalf of Forged Fiber. And I'll just give you the very brief version, and I apologize if I'm repeating anything, but Forged Fiber is a subsidiary or an entity created by AT&T to hold assets that they are purchasing from Lumen. And Councilmember Shaw, your question
is a good question, asking about the maps and the locations of those assets that are being purchased. And I have requested that information, and I've been told that they're just trying to make sure whatever I give over you is as accurate as possible. And so unfortunately, it's taking a little bit longer, and I apologize. For some jurisdictions, they've asked for maps and I've gotten them right away and been able to provide them. And I asked again today right before the meeting, and it's just they're just trying to make sure that that what I give you is accurate in terms of the location of the fiber that they are purchasing. Just to expand a little bit on what they're purchasing, what Forged Fiber is purchasing from Lumen. It's technically Lumen, AT&T, or Forged Fiber is purchasing the F2 fiber, which starts at the neighborhood cross connect and ends at the customer premises. So they're taking a part of it. And then Lumen is keeping the part called the F1 fiber, which starts at their central office and goes to that first cross connect panel. So one of the questions that I was asked, which was a question we've had before, is, why is it just an assignment of a franchise, or why does Forged Fiber need their own? And they need their own for that reason, because they're not buying the whole thing outright. They're buying a certain portion of the assets. So, and again, I apologize for not having the map. Like I said, it's something that we've provided to other jurisdictions when asked. And what I was told today is that they're still reviewing the information to make the determination and just, vet the information I'm giving you so that we can have accurate information provided. But as soon as I have that, I will have that over to Rick Sangder, and I'll send it to Lisa too, so that you guys will have that information as soon as I get it. And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
This is John. Thank you very much. That's very helpful.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thanks for staying up.
No problem.
No problem.
Happy to.
We're still discussing this.
Oh, you want to discuss it more? Yeah.
With John in particular.
Well,
John, now that we're getting the maps we have for them, would you be willing to entertain bringing it back? And
oh, I'm gonna have to listen to what the proper form is. I'm assuming that they're gonna update contracts, they're gonna include the maps.
Yeah.
And as appendices to the contract that's come in. That answers the question. We know where we're starting from, and we want fun. I'm in no way against moving forward. This is just about, I think, an obvious, and I think you can hear that it is not uncommon to have an asset.
then would you entertain, since you're the one that voted it down, would you entertain bringing it back tonight?
Because I'm happy to do, well, we need
a legislative break to get their documents in line, and then I can help John with the proper motion for bringing it back at the end of August.
I'm just looking at it from a business standpoint. I'm assuming that what I'm hearing is Liz et al. Is going to come up with details that go to Rick and Arlisa and be included in an update of the franchise agreement that then we're all going to be having to.
Yeah. So the point I'm coming from is that, from what I understand, that you're not worried about what the information is going to happen, and you're just worried more about that the information just appears.
I think in listening to some other people, having vagary and
absolutely
uncertainty of what the assets are, what they're getting, what's on the ground, especially right now as we're having, we've had multiple fiber optic legs to town. We have a lot of stuff like this that's going to be happening, but you really know where everybody lives. So not that I kind of wanted to undermine it at all, but I asked them, do they see issues? And they're very positive. They absolutely, we need to do this and support it. But it was about, when we see problems, it's because somebody forgot to include somebody didn't know something, and it takes months and months to sort out something that could have easily been in the contract at the beginning. Who belongs to what? Especially when I was listening to the full version of them going from Lumen to another company to begin with, AT&T. And now I understand they want to take some of those assets into 4G fiber. So I really want to make sure you understand I'm not negative about it. I just see it as that you need to have the inventory or not, or an understanding that there is stuff. Am I answering?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll do whatever we need to do.
I thought it like speed things along for everybody else if we did before the legislative like break, but if you see anything stuck in it, it's not necessary.
And I doubt that there's got a clock going on this, that, Forge Fiber is gonna worry about whether we're done by August.
I just think we'd be doing a better time on, because our due diligence if we have the updated contract, whether it has the map with the list and everything, or something that says, we don't have a list, and there's one.
It just like not having it, and again, not translated at all, but like not having a franchise agreement just kind of limits what they can do right away. So, I don't think that will create a problem. It sounds like we could wait until after the legislative break. Is that so? I'm not hearing any urgency out of it.
This would take 3 readings, but
I'm sorry.
this approval of the agreement would take 3 readings, is that right? It's an ordinance, not a resolution. So we would be able to, I mean, even if we did the first reading today.
No, it's just an agreement. It's just one reading.
Franchise agreement.
I think you guys move on to special committee items for the council president's floor.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the first reading of Bill 26-14, allowing the creation of a youth council.
Second. It's been seconded by Councilperson Gay. Is there any discussion? Oh. Right. Okay, sorry.
How does that cover?
They just throw in any voice or something. Yes. Is there any discussion?
I just want to say I'm looking forward to this, and I hope that we get applications to really build this out and let it be the success story that it can be.
Yes.
I actually was just, I know that Justin had some interactions with youth about this already, and I wanted him to share with us what he told me earlier.
Yeah, so, for this council, it'll be like 5 members and 2 alternates. And it'll be ages, I believe, 14 to 20. Yes. Which opens the door to so many more people, honestly. And I've talked to a few of my friends, and 3 of them have interest in joining this council. So we'll see if they actually do once we get it all moved along. But I think this will really allow the youth to have more of a voice. I know I'm limited and Aiden's limited, but when there's 5 kids all together, stuff can really happen.
Okay.
Does that include, 8th graders?
Yes.
Yes.
Over.
Any more discussion?
So, like on the council, the youth council, there will be a chair and a vice chair. The chair will be the main student rep, and then the vice chair will be the alternate student rep. Yeah, so you won't need more chairs. You'll be good. No, you'll be good.
All right. Seeing no more discussion, all in favor of the first reading request for recommendation, recommending the city council approve the youth. To approve the youth, council bill number 26-14, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Next, we have our request recommending the city council approve for the mayor to appoint 2 individuals to the Aberdeen Library Board. We accept this request.
Second.
Is that
Much good or different? Either one.
is there any discussion?
Typically, when you have appointments on the agenda, the names are listed. I understand that it's in the packet, but you know, off the top of your head, so you get on into the, record.
I have them here.
Oh,
It's Beverly Wilkinson and Caitlin Rowe.
very important discussion.
Hi.
A motion to approve resolution 2026-28, submitting a proposed charter for the qualified voters in the city for their approval or rejection. Approval or rejection.
Second.
Discussion.
I'll say something. All right, so the decision for you tonight is likely one of the most significant votes you'll make as members on the council. The yes vote does not decide the future of the council. It simply gives the people you represent the opportunity to decide themselves. This is about allowing the residents of Aberdeen to have a voice. As elected officials, your role is to represent the community and ensure their voice is heard. Voting yes allows that process to happen. If this measure does not move forward and you personally oppose it, I encourage you to make your case to the public and explain why you believe they should vote no. That's how democracy works. Let the voters hear both sides and make their final decision. Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Well, I just feel like it was kind of something that I would like to discuss as the council, of which we really haven't done before, giving it to the city to vote on it. I'm a little concerned about groupthink as opposed to, disagreement within the council. I think, more heads prevail sometimes with putting in some other ideas and, representing, the different factions within the city. We can let the city vote on it, but sometimes their vote is uneducated. They don't really know for sure. They just think it's a good idea to limit it. But I see some cities that have, moved into this particular kind of 6-person vote, and they get into groupthink, and the city kind of just goes one direction. So I would like to discuss it as the council and put our ideas out there. For me, I've enjoyed my time on council. I don't really intend to run again, but I like the fact that, there's a lot of people that are, not a lot of people, but more people to kind of put their opinions in and to share, thoughts and concerns. I think we've saved the city some money from making some, mistakes maybe that we could have made. But anyway, that's my thought on it.
Councilperson Shaw.
Yeah, I'd like to speak on this. As someone who has been here 38 years, and for all 38 years, there's been a discussion in Aberdeen and Oakland about reducing council size for efficiencies and different reasons. And I'm told by some historically minded friends, but better suited than I, that it goes back 50 to 60 years. There have been various discussions of reduction. This isn't, to me, anything about the current council. This is a topic that's been going on for quite a while. During the election campaign and in recent years, it's been discussed regularly. And I think it really comes down to letting this go to the voters. We have developed a habit here at the city to create loopholes, to create, basically, we're going to the public all the time, asking for their opinion on everything from what our budget should look like to what we should be prioritizing in the city. And I think it is in good form and walking the walk to ask the citizens of this question. It's been out there for a long, long time. And I think it is a mistake to not allow it to go for citizens. But And again, I came into this, I'm new on the council, I've watched this exhibition for a long time. And this is just about giving Aberdeen a chance, the voters, to have a say. We ask them all the time. We got QR codes on the wall where we're asking people how we should do things. We can't be afraid to let this go to them.
Thank you. Any other?
I just want to second what Councilmember Shaw was saying, and while I was campaigning and also just talking to people, this has been a topic that comes up almost every time I'm talking to somebody. The voters in our city care about this topic a lot. And for me, it just comes down to letting people decide how they want to be represented. And I just can't see any reason why we wouldn't let people decide the number of people that they want representing them.
I had prepared a pretty long statement, but I'm gonna try my best to summarize it, as most of what I have planned to say has already been shared. But just a couple key elements I want to make sure that we are pointing out there. This isn't changing ward boundaries. This specific proposal doesn't shorten anyone's term. Most importantly, we're not voting to reduce it. We're voting to allow the voters to have that decision. I think, you know, as a council member, you don't have to personally support the reduction of council. To allow someone else, to allow the voter to vote. Those are two very different decisions. I understand there's some legitimate arguments for keeping 12. So they believe that, you know, 2 per ward provides you with some greater access or more perspectives of the dais, and I do respect that position. But this choice about representation should belong to the voters. Those who voted for us and elected us to represent them, not those of us sitting up here. That's why this has been brought forward. This is why I've pushed so hard for it since I've been on council. And that's why I will be voting yes, and we can pass this through.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Councilperson Gill.
Like this new idea of it being the vote of the people. But I think the timing is at a very stressful point, and a lot of us work really hard to get here. And at the end of my 4-year term, I would like to rerun to keep the same ideals and programs and concepts that I've been doing now for since 2018 is when I started. And for me, just to hand over everything I've worked for and everything that I am pushing for is to, I still need a bathroom, I'm returning bathrooms. That was our first conversation. And that's something we can all agree on, so I mean, I see it as there's a divide right now. If we were to take this vote right now, it would leave it to where there's 6 people being represented by 1 half. The 6 people that represent the other half, they'll have no voice in the council. I think this is a good time for it. I think it would be a reduction someday, it would be good, but now, if it's too long of a gap where there's a huge portion of the vote that was recently voted on, and we're created by the people, but our voice will be unheard for that period until we have a chance to run again. And I think that's unfair. That's the only thing I can hope that's unfair. It puts strange catalysts to the vote. Yeah. I can stay rid of that. I have one, I think
Is there any other? Absolutely. Oh, wait a minute.
I was gonna say, I've been a proponent and spoken publicly about drinking the council since I was running. I've had multiple people come to me as I was campaigning beforehand, even now, that just like still this discussion continues to come up, so. I'm a proponent of putting this to a vote for to the people to vote for this.
Yeah, I need my second plan.
Just one more here.
Okay, that was my second point, is that it'll also be leaving the council with all of the senior members who have been fighting here for close to a decade now. But no, it'll be all fresh blood, and all the things we've been fighting for, will be swept under the rug. And that is me, it's not fair, it's not fair. It takes all of our work and all of our voice, it's this community. But I'm like, voting. It's not, they're not voting on reducing the council, they're voting on you have the voice. of the
I was just gonna ask that we do a roll call for this and or remind that they're not denying the permanent votes on the city will fail as a super majority.
Lexi? Hagan?
No.
Hodgkin? I have to say no. Hubbard?
Yes.
Moynihan?
Yes.
Nimber? No. Fredo?
Yes.
Tragic?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Swore?
Yes.
Taylor?
No.
Wilson?
Yes.
Motion does not pass with 4 noes.
Okay.
The last item on the agenda for special committee items is the second on the ethics committee findings regarding code of ethics and conduct violation complaints. Open floor to discussion.
I'm supposed to remain here. Perhaps it's gonna work, we haven't discussed that, we've never read this.
There's nothing within the code that says that you need to recuse yourself from the discussions. I would.
Discussion.
So are we open for discussion?
Yes, we're open for discussion.
Would it be better if you find something a little shocking or disconcerting to present it in a, email or letter? I mean, we're not supposed to send something out to everyone, but rather than just say it, in public as a meeting, would it be better to just share your concerns, via email? Oh, sure. I'm just wondering, if you find something a little shocking or disconcerting, would it be better to, rather than just to say it publicly in the moment, to share it in an email or a letter? We've had, people do that. So, is that what we prefer?
I think that would be up to the.
Are you talking about this particular issue or just in general?
This particular issue, would it have been more appropriate to share the concern in an email or a letter to the council?
My concern,
Yes, your concern with the fact, that people were voting no against people who wanted to volunteer their time.
oh, if I would have calmed down and wrote something more eloquently, I see, if I can defend myself, I wasn't meaning, disgusting wasn't the word, I just meant that I felt it was unnecessary. It
You need to
wasn't,
speak to the microphone.
yes, it wasn't due to their qualifications for the position. It was a personal, no vote in my opinion. In my opinion,
You have your opinion.
I just meant that I felt it was unnecessary. There's been a lot of other committees where the people that were the opposing side has pushed through without a single link or non. But for this, people pointing on multiple. We've never seen. Just, I just didn't think it was necessary. It hurt my feelings as a representative. But it's supposed to be all part of something. I feel and that's why I try to keep it, but it's probably. So I think like targeted. As of recently by. But if it's simple as me saying that, I would express my opinion on what I felt was unnecessary, but was not being sanctioned publicly. Latch the choice of words and them randomly. I'm sorry.
I'll just add that my concern with the ethics committee was that it would be used as, you know, it would be weaponized and I've seen that go on and that's disconcerting to me. I think it creates a lack of trust. So that's my opinion.
I have every right to vote how I feel on the appointments to a thing. And I can repeat some conversations I had with one member that we voted for, and I don't think you would be surprised that I voted against them. And if you bothered to ask why, you might have found out instead of telling me I'm disgusting. That's all I have to say.
I want to ask Dave, something that catches my ear is our side. You explain that? Because to me, that's really an important discussion. I don't see any sides, and I'm done with wanting to.
That's fine.
No, there's no sides.
You're right, there isn't.
Okay, so can you tell me what you mean by it? It's kind of a straight question.
Let's see if we were getting political signs, some of them would be destroyed, some of them wouldn't, even though they're sitting side by side, that shows the direct opposition on the sides. It shows that there's a.
And that's what you're thinking when you say our side. It's an honest question. I want to learn. Because I'm on here and I don't have any interest in same sides. I want that to be really clear when I share. So I want to know where this is coming from.
John, you haven't been involved.
Oh, I've been watching this council for a while, so I think I know. And so
where's your offense to me seeing that I feel like I'm being targeted by opposition?
But
I'm not part of that. I'm not. There's an organized group that is targeting me.
I don't feel that. I mean, okay, we'll have a discussion. Let's you and I get together. We'll have a discussion about that. I'd like to see if we have something going on in this city and in this council, under this chamber, where someone feels targeted, we have to deal with that. And I'm not, that's a serious issue. And let's talk about it. Okay, it's unfortunate that's the discussion, but yes, I am bringing that to the table. So why don't you and I get together?
There's been both sides coming, they went back since the rally Carter. Yeah. There's
okay,
let's wait. They took advantage of that when we were under distress and remember something, they make a vote to remove our president. At the current time. Knowing that we didn't have the post to pass it. Very similar circumstances to the way that the current council currently operates.
So if there was no, as you're saying, no targeting, the three people that were picked who ran for you, maybe Iraq, thank you. Those three, if it was three other ones, I am darn sure it would have passed with no problem. So you can't tell me that it's not. I've sat here for many years and I've watched it. And over and over and over. It's specific groups, specific people, and you can't deny that. And if you don't see it,
well,
then you have blinders.
I gotta tell you, I voted for the people that were brought forward through the process. And that's as simple as that. And that's how we need business. And carrying this stuff forward, and basically dropping this baggage in front of the citizens of Aberdeen. And maybe getting in the way of doing the business in the city, which is what this is about. Concerns me. So we need to sit down and put that stuff away. I agree. There can't be a division like that going forward.
I fully agree with you that there shouldn't be a division, but there is.
Okay, and the other side is let's just remember that when we come here, this is a nonpartisan.
Absolutely.
Let's remember that. It's a nonpartisan body. And you are all made up of your personal opinions. You understand? You're free to have those.
ahead. Sorry. I just wanted to reiterate that we all can vote independently how we want to vote. And as expressed by Councilperson Fredo, that his reason for voting no was specific because he had been engaged with one of those people who had very negative comments to say in public forum. So I can fully understand that. If I had someone out here who was calling me some sort of names or something, I'm not gonna vote them in. Why would I do that?
You're
So
right, you should put yours aside, shouldn't you? Should you not put that negative aside and look at, oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. That was part of Wilson.
Sorry.
I know this is on me. And I want to let people know that in no way intended my vote to be political. It was not. I looked at what the results might be of certain people being on the committee. And I'm looking at the best outcome for the city, had nothing to do with political. None. But I must say that when you said that people that voted no were disgusting, it made me think twice about, should I ever vote against him again? Should I always wait and hear what he's gonna vote so that he doesn't turn around and say,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, that was not my reasoning. It was not political. I did not do anything. I promise that was not.
Councilperson Taylor.
So first, I would like to say, I do not believe that Mr. Gaten called anybody disgusting. He called the action, not the people. I've just heard twice from two people on the council that they took it personal as they were called disgusting. That was not the intent. I could clearly see that because I was sitting here. Secondly, we do need to put aside our personal feelings, how we feel about somebody, and vote on the ability for them to do a good job, not how we personally feel about somebody. And in my opinion, this is my opinion, I believe that that's what Mr. Gaten was saying.
I'm driven more as to not discourage people from applying from the position we put forward. We start trying to pick favorites when there's only 3 applicants. It's not like there was an actual vote being presented as who was going to win over who was preferred by choice. It was a technicality, but picking them through because they're the only ones that applied. And by saying no, that it was just a slap in the face to how things should operate. And so
I've been waiting to let everyone have their things so that I could address some of these concerns. When the ethics committee met, we were very sensitive to all of these concerns and we shared them. We discussed the fear that had been expressed to me previously about the ethics being weaponized, and we discussed all of this at length. And the reason that we came to the conclusions that we did is we found that a couple of the issues were not supported, but the tone of voice and calling someone's votes in a derogatory manner, that was supported. Whether, you are allowed to disagree, certainly, but we just felt that by calling somebody's choice of votes disgusting, that was crossing the line of the letter of being professional and working in a professional way. So that was why we came to the decision that we did. And it was unanimous.
You guys.
We'll get to that.
I just wanted to also, and we take the vote as the council. We're not always gonna win. It's not always gonna be the vote that we want. And one just happened tonight that I was just very happy with. But as a council, whether we're on the winning side or not, we're obligated as a council to stand by that decision as a group, as a unit. And our individual opinions that's not the point. The point is, as a group, we come together and we've made a decision, and in democracy, that decision wins. It doesn't mean that we attack the people who didn't agree with us. I'm not saying one way's right or the other. I'm just saying in a democracy, in this council, we make a decision. We as a group have made that decision, whether it's the one that we chose or not, and we must stand by it. In the past, this council has not stood by its decision. And that was completely wrong and unethical. Moving forward, we need to stand by the decision of the council, and whatever the vote is, we all need to swallow whatever anger we have inside and stand behind that vote, because we are a council. We're united, and we are of course united, but individually we're not. Sorry, no, that's my sermon. I'm done.
Like, when you were elected, I didn't vote for you. That's why have I ever made you feel uncomfortable? Have I ever made you feel?
It's not being our member.
It's not showing my district.
We have a couple of comments.
Yes.
I need to be excused for a minute. I need to go get a drink. My teeth are sticking in my mouth.
My only comment on this is, we feel like this is a discussion government leads. We're not here to miss words and discuss, what decisions have been made in the past and how votes have gone in the past, how we've acted after a vote. We're here to talk about this one instance, and what this one instance comes down to is to follow an obligation that each of us holds, to have disagreements with respect, to speak with each other with respect, have tact, and just a little bit of kindness. So that's all I have to add to that.
Thank you. Go ahead, Johnny, first, and then it.
Oh, gosh, if somebody's yelling at you on the street, cursing at you, does your personal opinion, what they're saying, really affect what they're yelling at you? Because you can look up these people and look at their comments about our council, about our city actions, and they're not like, from the mindset that there's going to make action decisions. It's where if you really stream the process and not just trying to lead you. For sure. And this wasn't about party affiliation. This being negative, we didn't influence by people. They do seeing their comments, seeing their friend groups, trying to forward people into making decisions. That's what I'm saying.
Administrative notes.
Can
I say something, Dr. Duffer?
No, really quick. No, he just.
Yeah. We spent, Katie, Finance Director Katie Williamson and I spent many hours trying to follow, reading through code, trying to follow everything to a T, because we knew how important this was. This is our first time dealing with this. We spent hours with our attorney, getting advice, figuring out steps that needed to be made, ensuring dotting our I's, crossing our T's, all of the things. And the result is probably tens of thousands of dollars collectively that we spent just handling this issue. Because of, like, maybe there was a way to talk about this or to deal with it at a lower level. I understand that this exists, and that feels disrespectful. I understand that these rules exist to keep people safe and to provide a process and a procedure for all of you to do this, to be able to air out your grievances. But I just want you also to be aware
of the money that goes and the time that pulls her away from the budget process, handling, making sure our payments are made, you know, utility bills, all the things that go into it. So I also want you to be, or I'm not trying to discourage you to not pursue this, but I just want you to be aware of the operational impact to the city that this has. So, thank you. Oh,
I was looking at the shock into the mic, please. Talk into the mic. And it's now very small. Okay, Council President.
The amount of money and the time means nothing if everyone appears and people sharing their voice the way that they should be. And accountability is the number one thing that we should all be holding ourselves up to. Whether it's accountability to each other, accountability to the staff, or accountability to the people that voted us up here. And accountability to each other comes up real quick when we look at the fact that we just approved this code. So yes, it might have taken a long time this time. Yes, it might have cost that much money, which never came up in our conversations, and I wish it had. But nevertheless, that's the same thing I shared with you before. I mean, accountability is everything. So we can't be accountable to one another. How can you ever build trust? How can we ever search and break down this concept of us being on two sides, two teams? And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it doesn't exist, but I'm also not going to sit here and pretend like I haven't spent the last 2 years as council president trying everything I can to break that down, trying to get people on that other side to have conversations with me, to meet with me, to read an email and respond to it. I can't make you work together. So there's one side or two sides. Maybe we should all start looking in the mirror.
Any further discussion?
If I could, that, like I said, Josh is upset. Josh and I have been friends since we were young boys. Josh, when I was speaking that, I honestly didn't even know you voted no. You weren't even in my thoughts or in my, even, I literally, that's why I honestly, I hadn't even considered you as part of it. I didn't even hear what you voted. And I honestly didn't even, when I made that statement, you weren't even in my mind as one of the people that I could to at all. Sorry for the misunderstanding. I honestly thought that all of those names and something. And I didn't even have you even if you already viewed my thought process. I apologize to you, had to feel that. That would not feel good. That's something you've known for that long. You know, so you and I gotta have a next hug after this. I'm sorry.
Are we ready for a motion? Are we ready for a motion?
Unless there's any more discussion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the findings and conclusions of the Ethics Committee, specifically that AMC 2.24030 A12 A and B were not sustained, and that AMC 2.24030 A12 B was sustained.
Second.
Seconded by person. One discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We need to do it.
Oh, roll call. Sorry.
It has to be past the measure.
Okay, thank you. Chance said aye.
Francie,
Yes.
Aiken. We're voting on.
We're voting on sustaining the findings of the Ethics Committee.
Oh, shit. I'll even vote yes on yes. I should learn how to use better language when I'm describing my displeasure.
Hodgkin.
I have to say no, because I think it's a little bit of a nothing burger, but that would be my vote.
Hubbard,
Yes.
Moynihan,
Yes.
Nimber. Yes. Fredo,
Yes.
Radrick,
Yes.
Shaw,
Yes.
Moore. Yes. Taylor,
Um,
Wilson. Yes. Motion passes with 10 yeses and 2 noes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve administering the recommended verbal admonition under AMC 2.24050D.
Second.
So,
I think you already made the motion.
No, that's the second, that was the motion for the.
That's your second motion.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
I would say no.
One.
Yes. Well, to do, so from a no from me.
I'll vote no to punishment. I'll say yes, it's trying to get it, but you don't need to be punished.
3 minutes.
Second, the majority doesn't.
Did you say there was three? Who was the other? Sorry, I got it. David, me.
That's still majority.
Yes, motion passes.
Do I read this now? The committee recommends that the council approve and deliver the following verbal admonishment. Councilmember Gaten, the city council recognizes that the council members may disagree on matters before the council and may express differing views concerning motions, appointments, policies, and other official actions. Such disagreements should remain focused on the subject, issue, action, or the decision under consideration and should not become personally demeaning towards council members who hold a different view or cast a different vote. The council finds that characterizing the votes of individual fellow council members as disgusting and delivering that comment in a confrontational and disagreeable tone did not comply with the personal workplace standards required by AMC Chapter 2.24. Council hereby admonishes you and reminds you that disagreement must be expressed with professionalism, due respect, and civility. I will move on to public comments. Let's look at how online today would like to comment.
She's not still there.
Is there anybody else in the audience who'd like to give public comment?
All of them. Good Lord. What I was saying earlier is just what happened. This guy has not been here physically in how many months? He's been online, he's been on Zoom. This is the first time I've seen him in forever. There has been a lot of nitpicking and bashing on the internet, and that's okay. That's, that's everybody's freedom of speech. But I have brought up to other council members why he hasn't been here physically, because I remember last year you guys all got upset because Liz missed 3 meetings. He's missed 4 in 3 physically. So just keep that in mind.
Thank you. Before we move on to public comments, also can take a motion to extend the meeting.
I was ready. I'd like to make a motion to extend the meeting to be no later than 9:15 p.m.
Second.
Seconded by Councilperson Matching. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So I have to say that this is the firm that we're, people that were voting on 6. And I thought, oh my gosh, I should have talked at the beginning. I realized it really wouldn't make a difference. Because it did make a difference, when you know. So I've lived here my whole life. I just recently been involved with the city council. And I found out there were 12 of you. But I do know one thing. Well, life is that my neighbor, he's on the city council. Wait, he didn't sign signs. He didn't come to my door. I don't even know what he stands for. It's because he ran out of hose. And I only had one choice. I'm not out. Don't vote for him. Didn't matter. So him. I feel that happens a lot in our city. I feel there's not enough. There's too many positions for people who are used. And what I heard here tonight was my voice, my voice, my meeting. Yes,
not you. The people voted you there, maybe they didn't vote for you, but you still got. The thing of it is, it takes away the choice of your constituents. How voters, because we don't have any competition. We don't hear your platforms. We don't have to make a decision. And it just happens a lot here. And for me, that was the main point. Having fewer people. So if I had no choice. That's my point. So maybe next time it comes to the run, we discuss it again, it's up in Aberdeen again. Maybe we'll think about giving the people choice to hear the people who want to go for all the competition, all the campaigning, see some things besides the name and they're on a seat that we know nothing about.
Thank you, Neil.
Everybody's Ward 2, some of you may know me. Like, first of all, thank you, Mr. Radley, for meeting with me the other day. He was my opponent, but we saw eye to eye on some of the things in our ward. And I think you guys really need to know some of this stuff because some of you are new to the council and got voted in before you. And talking with Mr. Rajic, he didn't know that there's a roundabout proposed. And it's been in the works for a long time. And it is part of the overpass to go over the trains. Mr. Rajic also didn't know that our ward there's a small section out at Aberdeen Lake. I think that when people were brought in after winning, they need to be updated on a lot of this stuff, not just thrown in willy-nilly, because it's hurting us, the people. And you guys, I've been coming to meetings. You are my 5th council. And you guys have always backstabbed each other. I've seen small groups oust people that was on the council for years. And then they got ousted because they didn't want them there. They didn't vote their way. You guys need to work together to help us. I don't know if going down in size is going to help, but this council, I saw tonight, I haven't been here for a while, but you guys are doing a little bit better than the last council. I'll give you that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Seeing none, then we'll close public comments. Is there anything for the good of the order?
Wanted to shout out our public works team. I was doing some work around my property and called the call before you did guys who were out there. They missed the water by about 18 inches, which I think is in the margin of error, but nonetheless, I nicked a line and it was an old steel pipe and the public works team, the truck was out there seriously within 25 minutes and ended up being a little bit more involved than I think they thought, but they were there and at least patched the leak and now everything's fixed and I have the city has a new water line that goes to my neighborhood. So just wanted to shout them out because they were great and professional and yeah, figured they needed a shout out. So.
I want to echo that recently. I reported a pothole. Sorry, Mike. I reported a pothole like 2 weeks back. They repaired it in 1 day. They do good. Okay.
All right, so I won't be here for August, but I want to challenge all you guys during that break to go around and talk to at least 50 people in your board and come back to the next meeting and share what they had to say. I'll join in on Zoom and I'll maybe say something, but I want to hear what your people in your board struggle with, how we can help them. So that's kind of a challenge I have for you guys during this August break.
Thank you. Any other?
I was looking for Dave, Our AQI, they're going to be 50 AQIs, and it's been struggling to get the numbers out there. So we really need to be prepared for going outside and breathing air liquids. I personally use a filter fan. I take a square fan and put on a square duct filter that is rated to remove smoke and such from the air. That way, clear out the air in the house in 15 minutes.
Good advice. I have one quick little thing here. Guys, I don't know, well, let's say you haven't saw this. It's like a map of the city. It's put on by a company that they sell the advertising. But the map has all the highlights that you want to go to if you're visiting the city. Ocean Shores does something like this. And if it's all right with you guys, I'd like to ask this company if they come and look at our town. And if they'd be low, it doesn't cost the city anything. It's just, they'll create a map that'll have our trails and our bike trails and anything in our highlighted things that we want tourists to be able to do.
Great idea.
And then they go to the businesses and sell advertisements. Then we have something we can give to all of our businesses downtown so that they can say, here, when a tourist asks them what to do and everything. Yeah.
As someone who owned a business and operated in the city of Aberdeen that did not have a storefront and needed to rely on advertising such as a map like that. If we pursue this and we go forward, and then this company is then contacting businesses in our city, asking them for advertising space. I cannot stress enough the importance behind a press release. Because there are several companies like that that are scams. And then our small business owners are paying anywhere from $200 to $600 for an advertisement that is then not purchased by the municipality or whichever business those are to be displayed at. So if we do continue this, please consider a press release so that we are helping our small businesses not hurting.
Yeah, we did something like this with the banners that are out right now and throughout the city, and that company asked me to do videos so that they could send and use it as a selling tool. So that showed that we were legitimately behind it. So yeah, I think a press release would be good. Josh.
Very different from like the package union shows. So many different art inspirations and going to research.
Yeah, this would have bike trails, our lake, walking trails, our parks. That's our average doesn't do any of that. They just show artwork, which is important.
Given the time restraints that we're now working, would it make sense to bring it?
Yes, we would. Can we get a second?
Second. There are legal requirements, please look it back up.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion for us to go into executive session according to RCW 4230.110 for consideration of site selection or acquisition of real estate purchase. At least in likelihood that disclosure would increase price for no more than 30 minutes with no action expected after the session.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Excuse me. Excuse me. I need to go. I need to get out of here. It's going like. No, whatever.
I would second. To speak.
It's hungry.
I'm not gonna leave you, just probably be like, okay.
No, there's no.
No, you're.
I just want to.
You're free to go. Carrie. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, or is that?
So the guy that said that I was on calculator, so I was like, no, you're going to be.
I stole mine, I stole my.
It's not voting. There you go.
And I don't see that.
Okay.
I know.
No, it's not.
Thanks for doing this job. So I stole them.
Yeah. So you can think through some.
Yeah, you need a like recommendation or reference or anything for the meeting?
So down there standing.
Good night.
Sorry.